turn up to an open water race on the day, there's going to be very variable conditions. It could be dead flat, glassy like a pool, or it could be choppy, rain, hail, and poor visibility. And you need to be ready for that mentally. And when it's dead flat, it'll be like a pool and you'll be quite happy with it. But when it's choppy, it is disgusting. No one really likes it, but you've got to adjust your stroke for it. My best tip is you really want to have a high, early catch.
A flat water conditions similar to today, yeah, you can almost get away with a really pretty pool-like technique. But when it gets choppy and messy, all that goes out the window and it gets ugly. Your stroke becomes a lot higher. It's all about more what you're doing underwater, and basically your recovery is just that. It's whatever gets your hand back in front of you the easiest without being too hindered by chop, wind, water or other competitors.
Well, when you're swimming out into choppy conditions, quite often there's no point trying to speed your stroke up and fight it. It's better to find a rhythm with the chop. And quite often that means you might have a bit more of a lopey stroke. So you might find that you're doing a bit more of this or something like that to get with the rhythm of the actual chop. Don't fight it. Don't just try and just thrash through it really hard.
I kind of just work like that and get a really high catch, pulling through the elbows and making sure that my elbows are always high in my arms and I'm not dropping them like that. Keep them up like that so you catch through there. And that means like you'll be just swimming and you'll be really grinding through the chop, pushing against the chop. So in the pool, I'll probably be long and strong and have a good kick. But in the open water, when it's really choppy, I'll increase my stroke rate and then just really make sure I've got a high catch through the water. So I'm constantly gripping the water. So, because I don't want to be gliding out the front of it like that, so I could be going backwards with a current or a chop. I always want to make sure I've got a grip on the water so it can't push me back.
It's more important to think about your stroke and have a really strong, long stroke still, but there might be times when you might have to shorten it a little bit just to meet the actual the rhythm of the waves. The other thing too is you still have to try and keep your head down when you're swimming into chop. Don't lift your head too much. Obviously you need to be able to sight where you're going, but it's really important in swimming in general to keep your head down. I think it's less important what's happening outside of the water, but what you have to remember is how important it is to maintain your underwater stroke. Don't just forget that. You can throw your arms over on the outside a little bit more and lose that high elbow technique, but really you have to remember to be pulling centrally underneath you and getting what extension you can underneath the stroke.
I would say it's like curling your hands over a barrel when you go into the water with a chop, but you really want to make sure you get a good grab of that and pull through fast, and you don't want to be, some people going like that and they really just kind of stay and glide out the front. I would say no to that. I'll just say go in and catch the water and rip through.
But when you turn around and you're coming in with the chop behind you, you can really gain a lot of time by picking up your kick. So what you need to do is actually, if this is your head and your feet are up this end, you actually almost have to get this kind of position. So if you can get your legs up and your kick going, which you can do if you're wearing a wetsuit as well, it's really helpful to getting those hips and legs up, then you'll be pushed forward by the waves. You'll just get pushed in a lot more, and yeah, you might feel like you're using a bit more energy by picking up your kick, but you can gain a lot more time too.
Yeah, I'd definitely say the choppier it is, the less glide and more rate, and really just making sure you're gripping hold of the water and pulling through with your stroke.